So yes, the digital transformation has actually been a critical pillar of our transformation strategy over the last 12 to 24 months. And one of the key things we've done on the board level is to bring that knowledge into the board. There are two choices. Either you bring in a board member who comes from a technology background, or you have someone who's speaking to the board on a regular basis. Right now we have the latter. We've added technology into one of our committees, into our establishing corporate governance committee. And but one of my ideals would be perhaps the next board member be someone from the tech space. It's been really interesting. We have a really great chairman. He sort of adopted me as his daughter, I suppose. And he's, with his experience in London and experience in Nigeria, I think that's really been a good interaction for us, because I also have quite a global experience before coming to Nigeria. I believe everything needs to be automated. Gone is the time when we can be satisfied with manual operations. It comes with human errors. It takes too much time. It's inefficient. And in today's world, where people want things, very quickly, then the only way you can do that is when you have the right tools in place to give that to them. Well, I work for a multinational, and in addition, I work for a German multinational, so I definitely agree with that. I think that corporate governance and transparency, which is the key, is really the critical for any sustainable business. And it has to come from best practices around the world. What might constitute best practice in Nigeria might not be the same as what's done in Kenya, may not be the same as what's done in the US, etc. But I think we can bring the best of the global world to bring that into Nigeria, and that's what we try to do at Allianz. It has to be intentional, so it doesn't happen by accident. So when I came in, we had two positions that opened up, and then we filled those with women. It's not that we only looked for women, we looked for the best candidate, but we made sure that women were part of that pipeline, so that there would be the chance for a woman to be hired. I would say it's a fourfold approach. First of all, you need to know what international best practice is, and so you need to do the research, whether you belong to multinational and can leverage that, or just do the normal research to know what is considered best practice around corporate governance. Then you need to put the structures in place so that it makes sense both from a people and a process. So you have to have the right people in place, you need to have the right templates, so to make the process much easier. Then of course the board has to be informed. The board has to understand what corporate governance, the importance of corporate governance first of all, and then their role. But it's not the board who can drive it. The board can set the tone from the top, but then it's the management and the leadership of the company who need to then make sure that the importance of governance and transparent policies is understood throughout the entire corporation. So what we at Allianz, what we do is that we can leverage our global practices. And so many of the processes, many of the templates are already there for our use. We implement it in Nigeria. And then we have established very strong audit and compliance managers who are both trained at the group level, at the global level, but also trained locally to really be able to drive those processes. And those people, most importantly, have access to the leadership team, have access to me as the CEO, to make sure that the importance of what they're doing is understood by our colleagues. The board definitely needs to be on the same page. The management can't believe in digital transformation and the board doesn't. Because as I mentioned before, the board has to set the what, the direction. So the direction of the board has to align then with the direction of the management. So how you do that is for management to impress and to equip the board so they understand the importance of digitalization. And I think that with the kind of board that we have set up, that's an easy task, especially when you have not just elderly members of the board, but you have younger, and then they influence each other to understand the current state of the world. I think without diversity, you don't have innovation, because you can't have great ideas if you only tap into one portion of the society. And most importantly, the company has to reflect the customers whom they serve. And so for us, we do believe that diversity is important. When I came in to acquire the company, there were no women on the board, and I came in as the first board member. And then since I took over as CEO, we've added 2 additional women as board members. We have 3 out of the 7 are board members. But diversity is not just around gender. There's also various forms of diversity, call it diversity of thought. So we have 4 different nationalities reflected in the board. We have 5 out of the 7 directors are non-executive, meaning they're bringing ideas from outside of the company. And then we have age. We have a 30-year gap between the youngest board member and the oldest board member. And so with this sort of range, we think that we can bring some great ideas. One thing that's critical for boards to remember is that it's not their job to run the company. And I've seen where that sort of confusion runs in the board. So it's really the role of the board to set the strategy, to set the what, to define the what. Where is the company going? What are the objectives? What are the targets? And then it's up to the management to then drive the how. So to allow the management that flexibility to do their research in the environment and find out, okay, how best can we drive those objectives? Now, the better informed the board is about local economics, about macroeconomics, about various geopolitical situations going in the world, the better that the board can also guide the management in that what. An effective board doesn't mean that the board members always get along. In fact, in terms of making sure that you have all the ideas on the table, you have to have that healthy conflict, or that openness to express your ideas. And of course, you also have a chair, a strong chair, but a chair that allows that discourse. But at the end of the day, the board has to come to a decision. So all the ideas should be out on the table, but then the board, led by a strong chair, needs to decide what is the next step. So I would group them into 2 buckets. I would say that the social challenges that we have, and then we have the governance challenges. So on the social side, we just went through 2 years of COVID, and some would say that we're still in COVID at times. And so it's really then around workplace safety, around mental health, particularly around making sure that you have an environment that is conducive to how people need to work today, with all the challenges they have, both on the health side, but also familiar, etc. And then on the governance side, in the country where we are, transparency has to be the hot topic, and that has to be the biggest topic. Making sure, many times it's not about what people are doing, but making sure that we know what they're doing. And so once you shed that spotlight, then typically people tend to line up with the way that they should be doing things. Well, the one thing I always tell people is that they have to raise their hand. They have to speak out. No one is a mind reader. So whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, if you want something, you need to go for it and not wait for it to be handed to you. So you need to find that right balance to see the opportunity and then put yourself in the way to meet that opportunity. But that also means that you need to be prepared. So do what you need to do in terms of training, in terms of the job skills, in terms of even just your mindset, so that when an opportunity comes and you raise your hand for it, no one can challenge that you're not ready for that position. So again, Allianz believes that corporate governance is critical to building a sustainable and trusted business. And one of the ways that we show this is to really champion governance and transparency at all stages. including with our regulator, where we sit on the subcommittee for corporate governance and ethics, but also within the group where we always aim to be the top notch in terms of governance standards within Africa.